very hard to get behind a main character who's a giant dick. Phantom Carriage, released in 1921. This film is 100 years old this year, which I think is really cool and really incredible. And it is a Swedish silent film directed by Victor Jostrom, who has also directed such films like He Who Gets Slapped and The Wind. And this film is starring Hilda Borgström, Tor Svenberg, and Victor Jostrom himself. And the reason why we're talking about the Phantom Carriage today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from one of my biggest contributors on this channel, Autumn Blood, who always appears on this channel, always appears in my email Dropbox, giving me the most random recommendations, films that I have never even heard of, and a lot of them are foreign films that, of course, this uncultured little guy had no idea even exist. So Autumn Blood, again, I can't thank you enough. If any of you out there also want to be like Autumn Blood and help contribute and donate to this channel, you can make a PayPal donation by clicking on the donate button on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do, and if you want a shout out and you really have a movie that you really want me to watch and review for you on here, you can attach your movie with your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and publish my review of it as quickly as I possibly can. There is a legend that the last soul to pass away on New Year's Eve is the soul to drive around Death's carriage for the following year, picking up souls along the way. So the film begins, and it is New Year's Eve, and a Salvation Army nurse is looking for a man by the name of David Holm, who is a drunkard hanging out in a cemetery this night. But he gets into a little scuffle with his local friends and ends up dead. So it looks like he is going to be the Grim Reaper for the next year. But before he can take the responsibility, the preceding Grim Reaper takes him on a journey through his past so that David Holm can relive it and figure out why he is here in the first place. Essentially, this is Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, just we don't get the pleasantries of Christmas Present and Christmas Past. We deal with the Grim Reaper the entire time. Now, what this film is known for, and surprisingly what still holds up to this day, is the visual effects, the way that it's able to show the Grim Reaper side of things and how these characters look translucent and transparent on the screen. This film came out 100 years ago, and when you think of something like that and how, I guess to nowadays people would probably think the technology that they had was very primitive back then, just to see the final product of this thing from 100 years ago, it's almost tear-jerking, actually. I'm very impressed, and just to see where we come from in the whole film community, this is quite beautiful. And I was able to check this film out free on YouTube under the Criterion Collection remastering of this movie, so didn't get all of like the film grades and the wear and tear of the film itself. It was actually in pretty nice pristine condition, thank God. But it's a very sad and tragic story, even though it kind of has a happy ending for the majority of this. You're in a state of depression this entire time, because this guy David Holm is really a son of a bitch, gets married, he has 2 children, and he's a drunkard. He comes home drunk from work every single day, and he gets in trouble with the law. He goes to jail for a long period of time, and when he gets out of jail, he comes back home, and his wife and kids have left him, have up and left him. And there's a sequence in here where he vows revenge on his wife for leaving him without him knowing, just up and leaving, even though he did say, like, gosh, if she would have told me that she was leaving and come face to face with me, I would have been okay with that. But because she did it behind my back, I need to find her. And I'm thinking the entire time, bruh, you're a giant dick. She doesn't need to tell you anything. You were in jail. You're a drunk. She doesn't owe you a single damn thing. But then the Reaper takes him back and sees those events, and then goes back years later after that, where he sees his first encounter with the Salvation Army nurse, and to see the kindness that she bestows upon him, and then really their relationship and connection throughout all of the years up until this night where David Holm appears to be dead. Now, when I think of classic films, when I think of silent films, I think of like the hokey, fluffy, funny stuff. But what I always fail to remember is that with a lot of these classic films and classic style stories, there is a lot of drama and a lot of depth and a lot of emotion that goes into these films. It's not just sight gags and funny things for funny things' sake. A lot of these silent films from 100 years ago deal with some very dark and deep things that a lot of films nowadays actually don't deal with. They focus more on the spectacle of everything and, oh, what's something cool that we can put on screen, and the plot and the story kind of get put to the wayside. But I really appreciate how this film just dives deep into this character and doesn't paint him in a good light the entire time. And George, who is the Grim Reaper, who was Dave's friend the previous year before he passed away on New Year's Eve, he does a good job of just being emotionless, because that's what the Grim Reaper is. He can't interfere, he can't honor any pleas or anything from the souls that he's coming to collect. It's just his job to show up and say, hey, you're coming with me now. I have no explanation as to why this is happening, it's just that it's happening. Sorry. The film is still impressive. It has great use of color, considering back then, in differentiating between daytime and nighttime. And again, the visual effects, the way that we're able to see these characters, these Grim Reaper characters, walk along while everything in the background is not moving at all or flinching, and to see these characters just be transparent. Again, film is 100 years old. That's really cool. If you want a trip down memory lane just to see where film has come from in the last 100 years, check this film out. I'm going to give The Phantom Carriage 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next. We're going to be picking from all of the Halloween and horror films that either I own or have been recommended to me over the years, so let's take a look. Rubber! Yes! The killer tire that rolls around killing people. Awesome. I've never actually seen it before, but this was an official recommendation from a good old friend of mine, a colleague of mine actually, our old technical director from my undergrad days in the theater department, Jerry Dennis, who is one of the coolest guys on this planet. Brilliant artist too. It's a movie about a killer tire. So guys, have you seen The Phantom Carriage? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Rubber. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.